Are we really going to do this? I was advised not to touch the subject. It is huge. The right to repair. And if you're a watch collector, a watch investor, if you buy and sell watches on eBay, if you're just a watch enthusiast, this is the information you need, and the information you will not find anywhere on YouTube or any books. None. The right to repair. Well, my name is Kalle Slaap, watchmaker in the Netherlands, and well, this is my YouTube channel and this is my view, and I think I am allowed to share just my view. I'm an independent watchmaker. We repair and maintain watches, we restore watches, so even older movements and no parts are available, we are able to create new parts, make them. So first things first, some definitions, because I think the lack of understanding of those definitions are a root of the problem of miscommunication. This is the quintessential David and Goliath story, and if you do a deep dive, it is fascinating. The right to repair. Are you, as an owner of any product, are allowed to choose where you want your product to be maintained, repaired, with original parts where you like. Because if you're forced to only be allowed to repair your product in one place or at one firm, that is a monopoly. And you have the watch industry and the independent watchmakers, and there is a difference of view. Let's be nice. So it is an age-old problem. If you do your homework, the right to repair, even a century ago it was a hot topic, not on watches but on different products, and it is still a hot topic. So sometimes you see me look for words or just the right expression. So please forgive me for that. The right to repair. Are you allowed to have your watch repaired, maintained where you like, without losing warranty or with the original parts? And that is the thing. First, some definitions. There are watch makers, but that is a strange term in itself. So I want to talk about watch repair and watch production. Production, making new watches, all new parts, sell them. And we have the watch repair, like we do as independent. Another definition which is critical is we're not going to talk about the watch. We talk about the movement, the engine block inside the watch. So there's the movement, dial, hands, case, case back, crystal, strap, bracelet, but just the engine. And for me, that is the most important bit of a watch. Otherwise you have a beautiful Ferrari Testarossa at a red light, and you hear it ding 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 ding. The engine is the most important part. You want roar under the hood and not ding 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 ding. The engine is the quintessential part of the watch, in my view. So it is an old problem. It is a huge problem, and it is affecting you. Really is. So if you do some homework, especially. I put the ISBN numbers in the description, so if you want to read, please find them. Beautiful book, The History of the Swiss Watch Industry. And already you find an important name. Beautiful stuff, so revealing of the Swiss watch industry. Great reading, but some facts you find a bit disappointing, and then you think, well, maybe the marketing wasn't quite right, or what they promised is a bit different than I thought. Revolution in Time, quite a read, a complete eye-opener, but these are in English. This one I found in German, but then again, the Netherlands are next to Germany, and the German language is mandatory of compulsory. You know what I mean? In Dutch schools. So yeah, we read German, and it is about Mr. Nicholas Hayek. You see me choosing my words. Some say he's the guy who started it all. It's a bit true. It's a bit true, but it's a larger story. The thing is, Mr. Hayek, I truly believe, was a watch enthusiast. He revolutionized Swiss watchmaking at a time when it was going all downhill for the Swiss because of the quartz revolution. But he did like money as well. So, when you think about the engine block, the movement in a watch, there are not many producers of watch movements. Really aren't that many. And then, to make it even more complicated, the creator of a watch production is mostly done with a half product called an ébauche. Ébauche is an unfinished watch movement. Unfinished because usually it is not finished. The finishing isn't there, so the movement isn't finished. I hope you understand that. Finishing is Côte de Genève, perlage, the high gloss, the black polish, stuff like that. So without the finishing, a movement isn't finished. So even if a watch producer says, well, I made this complete movement, it is usually not completely true. They are manufacture, is close to manufacturer, but manufacture means all parts are made in one place by one brand. That's more accurate. So all parts are being produced by one brand. Only a few brands can claim that, and most of the brands who claim that is that simply they bought producers of mainsprings or whatever. They bought the company, so it's part of their company now, so they can say, my company makes all the parts. It is a misleading world in watchmaking. It will make sense. One of those producers, I think the biggest, maybe Seiko, but then again, the biggest is Swatch. And that is ETA, ASA, and they bought all kinds of watch producers like Valjoux, I think even Passeux, Longines, Omega, Tissot. Omega and Tissot were close related. Record was closely related to Longines. It's all in one big, huge ETA umbrella. Still searching for words. ETA is one of the biggest producers of excellent movements. I do have to stress that. Maybe the ETA 2000 was a bit of a mistake, and there are a few others. But if you know what you're doing, even an ETA 2000 can be perfectly maintained and repaired. So, the Swatch company is not only owner of the production of ETA movements, but the part you can look it up on Wikipedia if you like. But Omega, Tissot, Hamilton, there are so many brands. Glashütte Original, which is German, it is owned by Swiss. Breguet, so really top layer as well. All one big company. Nothing wrong with that. But they all use ETA movements or ETA based or created in their own company but under the Swatch umbrella. Finding words. Mr. Hayek. Again, I do believe it was a true watch enthusiast. Even more than that. But he did like his money and his bank account. He said, we are one step back, sorry, forget about that. ETA was producing like mad watch movements, and they sold it to other brands outside the Swatch company as well. For decades, even Breitling had Valjoux movements, and they bought it. Breitling is not part of Swatch, but they bought the ETA movements. I hope that makes sense. A huge amount of brands bought their movements from ETA. Remember, there aren't too many watch producing companies. ETA is the biggest. Then, I think it was mid-90s. Oh, sorry, I had to look that up, but I think it was mid-90s. Mr. Hayek said, we as a Swatch company are not supplying watch parts outside the Swatch company. So Breitling was a partner of ETA movements, Valjoux movements, for such a long time, weren't supplied with parts anymore. And to produce a movement, the investment is insane. You talk about millions and millions and millions. And then the time it takes to design a movement, produce a movement, make sure it's reliable. You don't do that overnight. So then Hayek said, well, within a few years we stop supplying watch parts. And the complete industry thought, well, they can't do that. They can, and they did. So Breitling started producing the B01 movement. Tag Heuer did produce. I don't think they made it themselves, but still they sought other producers of watch movements. That is just production making a new movement, not repair. But Swatch stopped supplying the independent watchmakers as well. Huge problem. And then, and that is the right to repair, can they do that? Well, yes they can, yes they did, yes they will. Even though a huge amount of court cases. Thank you so much, Cousins UK, for all your efforts. And now we know that being right isn't the same as justice. So now what? The right to repair, can they do that? Yes they can. And why it's important for you as a watch collector, investor, seller. How do you maintain your watch? Looking for words because this is a minefield I'm in now. The problem isn't that huge yet at the moment, because ETA was producing movements like mad, and all those movements are interchangeable. So you can find still brand new movements like in the grey market online, and parts are available if you look for it. If you know what to look for, and hopefully my videos on our YouTube channel Chronoglide are helpful with that. I think if you look for watch parts and how to find them, I give you some tips and tricks. But now, and this is for me the interesting part, because the idea of not supplying the competition as Hayek claimed, so that is outside Swatch. We're not supplying the competition which was watch parts anymore. So the right to repair is all watches have to come to the original producer to be maintained, because, and this is arguable, only the producer knows best how to repair a watch. And I fully subscribe to that view if it was true. And most of the time it isn't. Because now we have watch production, modern new watches, and a huge heap of spare parts, all brand new. And we have watch repair, older watches, worn, they have to be repaired. And they said, well, they all have to come to us. And now where it goes wrong, because of spreadsheet people. I think we all have encountered incompetent managers who had brilliant ideas in an Excel sheet and without a technical bone in their body. I think you know what I'm talking about. Because on paper it is perfect, a perfect plan. All the repairs come to us, we repair them, we can charge what we like, we have all the parts, we're gonna be rich. They were rich already, but they want to have more. But now, and there is where the whole plan goes horribly wrong, in my humble opinion, is watch repair, especially vintage watches, it is completely different than using new parts, put them together, oil them, and the watch will be running perfectly. Yeah, sure, all new parts, what can be wrong? You need skill and knowledge to repair vintage watches. And vintage can even be 15 to 20 years old, which is in my view just about a brand new watch. You need skilled watchmakers, experienced watchmakers, and there it goes horribly wrong. Who is going to do repair? And now I'm going to run into a minefield. Is it who will benefit from a watch repair instead of selling a new watch? And of course, this isn't true for every single major watch producer. There are excellent brands who know what they're talking about, who have the experienced watchmakers, but the right to repair is a bit more tricky. And this is my experience talking. It is, you get all the repairs, so you can decide what to ask for it, money. The right to repair is being used, not by all of them, but by a few brands to mask their quality of the movement. It still can be a beautiful watch, it still can... Okay, but what's going on inside? If you have the right to repair rule and you lose warranty if all watches don't come to you. It is like a callback for like cars. If a defective component, well, it's exactly the same, because some of the components aren't that great. We just saw in the live stream of, well, I know I'm going to be nice, but if you follow our live streams on Tuesday evening, 8:30, you know what I'm talking about. Even modern watches, we see horrible defects not being caused by the user, the wearer, the owner. For example, like I said, modern watch repair needs experienced watchmakers. Quite a few brands and of serious reputation aren't even repairing your watch movement. They just swap it for a new one. You don't, you need a watchmaker with experience with placing the hands, placing the dial and polishing, but not by repairing an old movement. You don't get your own movement back. Some of you might think, excellent, brand new movement. But some of you would think, well, that is my movement. I brought it to you to be repaired and you just swap it over. Remember the huge production of movements? They have a pile of new movements. It's easy, so much easier to swap. So that is one element of the right to repair, which isn't what they are advertising. We know best how to maintain your watch, so you have to bring it to us, and nobody else knows how to repair those watches as good as we do. And then the immortal words of Hendrik Korpela: if you want a watch education, have a look at the KHWCC, the Korpela Hof's Watchmaking Competence Center in Le Locle. That is an experience. If you want to be a watchmaker, please have a look at there. And or Vostep, and in America there are many other excellent watch schools. But the immortal words, I digress, is a watch manufacturer isn't necessarily the one who knows best to maintain those movements. Completely different profession, watch repair and watch production. Remember when we started? And that is where it goes wrong. And one more bit, because it started to sound like a rant. Remember when I told you about watch repair and the experienced watchmakers and the skill and knowledge? Simply, who is going to do the work of watch repair? If they wanted all the rights to repair, they all have to come to us. Simple example. As a watchmaker, you can do only so many movements in a day. You cannot say, I do 26 movements today. A complete revision of mechanical movements, simply not possible. A few tops. Rolex produces at least 1 million watches a year, I believe. And I'm being conservative. That is roughly 2,500 watches a day. Every single day is 2,500 new Rolexes join the enormous heap of 100-year of Rolexes. All those mechanical movements need maintenance. All of them. So only the new watches coming in, 2,500 a day worldwide. But still, who is going to do the actual work? Say you're an excellent watchmaker, you can, let's exaggerate, 3 movements a day. Repair, not production, but end shake, pivots being worn, stuff like that. Hardcore watch repair. Even if you do 3 a day, which you can't. And you have all the parts, which you probably don't have of a watch from the 1950s or 40s or 30s or 100 years old of your brand which still exists. Simply, who's going to do that? Not only the 2,500 a day which comes in extra, but the huge mountain of watches already been sold. That is just Rolex. We have Omega, Tissot, Longines, all the mechanical watch producers together. How many movements and watches are that in a single day, and how many experienced watchmakers are there? And in the future it's become less and less and less. Doesn't add up, doesn't work, and so. And this is the part when it isn't true to form anymore, and that is the reason why I decided to make this video. If it's simply economics, if there's too much work coming in, you raise the price, or you say this watch cannot be repaired anymore, and we are the specialists because we produce them. Why don't you buy another one? Look at our collection. We get Daily is exaggerated, but a few every week for sure. And this is just a tiny workshop here in the Netherlands. Only the four of us work here, and it's a tiny village. At least a few a week, but it is more than that. People come in for a second opinion. Well, this watch been to Switzerland and cannot be repaired anymore. Let's have a look. Of course it can be repaired. They just don't want to repair it. And that's a nice anecdote. One guy came here not too long ago. I went to a jeweler and my watch was sent to Switzerland and it cannot be repaired anymore. But it's a Grand Seiko. uh, I presume it's pretty hard to eat cheese fondue with chopsticks. And the jeweler was adamant this watch being sent to Switzerland. They had a look at it and it was sent back. But it's Japanese. Yeah, it's been sent to Switzerland. If your watch being sent to Switzerland for repair, for a quote, whatever, please ask for proof. If it's been sent to Switzerland, there must be some evidence of it being sent. And please trust me, just a fraction of all watches are being sent to Switzerland. Really just a few. Some of the jewelers here ask 75 euros, which is the same in dollars, for sending costs and making a quote. It never left the building. I am convinced. Truly. So, the right to repair. Hot topic. A true minefield, because the industry and the independent watchmakers just crash. The industry shot themselves in the foot because they want all the work in-house, and now they find there are simply not enough qualified, experienced watchmakers to do the work. So they say it cannot be repaired anymore, please buy another one. And they won't say, well, maybe you're right, so we are going to supply parts. Not going to happen. And then remember who will benefit from your watch being repaired instead of you buying another watch. Just my opinion, but I would like to ventilate it, and because there is something going horribly wrong in just the train of thought of the right to repair, because I truly are convinced that if you have a beautiful watch, you can decide where you have to have it repaired, because it's a monopoly. It is a money spinning racket, and that is just my view. Next time, generic watch parts. It goes hand in hand like that with what we just discussed. The pros, the cons, the evolution of generic watch parts, and just our thoughts in the field. What we find here in our in our workshop here in the Netherlands. I hope it makes sense, and I hope it was informative to hear about what's happening behind the screens of watchmaking, because there is a lot going on and not everything is exactly how they tell you it is. So please enjoy your evening. My name is Kalle Slaap, watchmaker in the Netherlands, and if you like the stream, please hit the like button. That's very, very helpful for our YouTube channel. And if you have comments, if you agree, if you don't agree, please let me know. and let there be a discussion. And remember, a discussion cannot be won. It's just informing each other of each other's views, and it's not trying to convince the other that you are right. It's a discussion. It's just exchanging ideas. So there's no way you can win a discussion. Please let me know in the comments, and enjoy your evening. See ya. Bye bye.